Magic? True, ancient, untamed magic. The kind found in folklore, whispered about in old tales. What if it was real? Not stage tricks, not illusions, but an actual force, one that bends reality, manipulates nature, and connects to something deeper. It might sound impossible, but what if it wasn't? What if the world we live in is already filled with forces beyond our understanding? And what if, long ago, people knew how to tap into them? Welcome to Parallel, a mix of storytelling and thought-provoking what-if scenarios, combining narrative fiction and analysis that includes real-world science, philosophy, and potential real-world implications. Don't forget to subscribe, like and comment so that you do not miss out on the next episode. Because, one reality, sasti boom, is never enough.
I can feel it. The air hums around me like the world itself is breathing in time with my own. I was chosen. After all the years watching from the shadows, all the whispered stories, all the longing, tonight I am one of them, a druid, a keeper of the old ways, a wielder of magic. They placed a wreath upon my head, traced a sigil upon my palm, and spoke the words that made me one of them. The power is there, just beyond my reach, waiting for my hands to shape it. For the first time in my life, I belong. The world is bigger than I ever knew, and tonight, I step into its hidden currents. I will learn. I will change. I have dreamed of this moment for as long as I can remember, and now, the dream is real.
Imagine a world where magic isn't about wands and spells, but about deep knowledge of the earth itself. If real magic existed, it wouldn't be supernatural. It would be a science we never fully understood. Think about it. Nature is already filled with strange, unexplained forces. For example, bioluminescent plants, fireflies, glowing mushrooms, deep-sea creatures that light up the dark. In ancient times, people would have seen them as mystical, even magical. What about psychoactive herbs? Shamans and healers used plants like datura, amanita muscaria, and ayahuasca to induce visions and altered states. What if these weren't just hallucinations, but doorways to something real? And let's not forget electromagnetic anomalies. Places like Sedona's vortex sites or the Hessdalen lights in Norway defy conventional explanations. Could ancient practitioners have harnessed these natural energies? If magic were real, it wouldn't be about defying nature. It would be about understanding it better than anyone else ever could. The Druids of ancient Celtic societies were said to be keepers of profound sacred knowledge. Not just priests, but scientists, astronomers, and healers. They had no written records, only oral traditions passed down through generations, preserving their connection to the natural world. But here's what makes them interesting. Roman accounts describe Druids as being able to predict the weather, influence the growth of crops, and even shape human behavior. Today, we might explain this as an advanced understanding of nature, seasonal cycles, and psychology. But what if it was something more? Did the Druids tap into Earth's energy? The concept of ley lines, invisible energy paths crisscrossing the Earth, was well known in ancient times. Many Druidic sites like Stonehenge and Newgrange align perfectly with celestial events. Did they sense or even manipulate the planet's electromagnetic fields? The Druids also had a deep understanding of plants. Many of the herbs they used, like mistletoe, belladonna, and mandrake, have psychoactive or medicinal properties. Could their magic have been an early form of biochemistry, or even a means of accessing altered states of consciousness? If real magic existed, maybe it wasn't about defying nature, but working with it in ways we've long since forgotten? What about the Fae? Were they the guardians of the in-between worlds, Fairy tales, tricksters, shapeshifters, and other creatures slipping between realms. But what if the legends of the Fae weren't just stories? What if they were descriptions of something real, misunderstood over time? Some theories suggest that fairy encounters resemble modern-day UFO sightings, strange lights, missing time, and beings that aren't quite human. If magic were real, could the Fae have been travelers from another dimension, slipping in and out of our reality? In Celtic mythology, the otherworld wasn't just a place, it was a state of being, one accessible under the right conditions. Today, altered states of consciousness, through meditation, psychedelics, or even deep hypnosis, show that our perception of reality is far more flexible than we assume. What if the Fae weren't creatures, but entities from a reality slightly out of phase with our own? And what if ancient magic was the key to seeing them? Long before organized religion, there were shamans, medicine men, vision seekers, spirit walkers. Found in nearly every ancient culture, from the Siberian steppes to the Amazon rainforest, shamans acted as bridges between the physical and the unseen. Shamans used rhythmic drumming, chanting, and fire rituals to induce trance states. Studies in neurology have shown that repetitive sounds can alter brain waves, putting people into deeply meditative or even hallucinatory states. If magic was real, were these early practitioners accessing hidden layers of consciousness? Across the world, shamans described seeing the same kinds of entities, the same spirits, the same cosmic forces. How? Why? Could it be that their rituals were tuning them into something that exists just beyond normal perception? Let's assume magic exists. Not fantasy magic, but a force tied to nature, energy, and consciousness. How would the modern world react? Governments would want to control it. Just like nuclear energy, real magic would be classified, studied, and weaponized. Secret programs, hidden research, maybe they already exist. Corporations would commercialize it. Magic for sale. Energy manipulation, instant healing, even mind enhancement. A trillion-dollar industry, waiting to happen. Religions would be forced to adapt. Magic has always been tied to faith. If it were proven real, would it strengthen religious beliefs or break them apart? People would fear it. Look at history. Witch trials, persecution of shamans, destruction of indigenous knowledge. If real magic existed, humanity's first instinct might be to eliminate it. Maybe that's why, if magic was ever real, those who practiced it went into hiding. Maybe some still do. What if magic wasn't something supernatural, but something deeply natural? What if the people we called fairies, druids, and shamans were simply those who understood the earth better than the rest of us? Maybe real magic is buried in forgotten knowledge. Ancient traditions, lost sciences, and ways of seeing the world that modern minds have dismissed. And maybe, if we listen closely enough to the world around us, we can still find traces of it today. Thank you so much for listening in to this episode of Parallel. If you have an idea for a future episode, drop it in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really does help the channel grow its audience. Until the next episode, remember, one reality is never enough.